Hi, it's Damilola Oluwatoyinbo, and I'm excited to welcome you to this session of Dream Academy. 4 years ago, precisely in 2008, I had a burden for the young people all over Nigeria. Many of them with gifts, talents, unique abilities, zest and zeal, enthusiasm, and the willingness to make a difference. However, lacking one thing, the right strategy to influence things and to fulfill their dreams. Well, after a while, I couldn't hold it back to myself. I decided to assemble some of the finest minds that I had access to. Teachers, thinkers, and trainers who had ample experience in different areas of their lives and were willing to share with the young people of our nation. Today, we receive testimonies from scores of people who have walked through the doors of Dream Academy and are now beginning to influence the different areas of their concerns in the workplace, in the marketplace, and even in the ministry. This year, we have been privileged to listen to teachings along the lines of personal development, business growth, customer service, emotional intelligence, and a wide variety of other life skills that our traditional academic institutions do not furnish us with. I know you're possibly wondering, what exactly is Dream Academy? Well, Dream Academy is a unique learning environment where we furnish people with the right tools, tips, and techniques to fulfill their dreams. We teach life skills that are not generally offered at our traditional academic institutions, ranging from effective communication to effective leadership, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, CV writing, personal branding, and lots more. DREAM is an acronym for Developing Reformers, Entrepreneurs, Advocates, and Managers. So if you desire to sharpen your skills along those lines, this is the school for you. It's my pleasure once again to welcome you to Dream Academy. I hope you enjoy listening to our facilitators, learning from them, but more importantly, applying the things you learn so that you can inspire others too. Great to have you here. Begin to see that thing repeatedly. It's your RAS. So if you don't train your RAS, your society will train your RAS. Many of us have been trained to never expect enough. So we have a scarcity blueprint. There is a blueprint that is consistently governing your behavior. Your behavior is a natural reflection of your blueprint. Okay? Look at somebody, say, you have a blueprint. And you need to change it. A blueprint that governs the way you think, the way you act, the way you respond. You know, some people have an anger blueprint. So when we say, look at your neighbor and say hi, so hi. Some people have the insecurity blueprint. So if somebody wants to ask them for the time or direction, and the time is what? It's a what? Blueprint. Some people have the wrong blueprint about money. They just feel like money is never enough. So before they buy anything, they check the price, including toothpick and handkerchiefs. It's a blueprint. And to change it has to be deliberate. Okay? Everybody has a blueprint, but for most people, their blueprint was not developed by them. Their blueprint was developed by their background, by their environment, by the people they grew up with, the schools they attended, the things they exposed their minds to on a daily basis, the TV programs they watched, the statements their teachers made to them. A blueprint. You know, it's like the soft copy of a document. If you send it to the printer, what does it print? Exactly what's on the soft copy. True or false? True. Talk to me. True or false? True. Okay, so for you to change what is being printed, what do you have to change? The soft copy. Now, many of us have documents in Word, but you're expecting a printout from CorelDRAW. You can't generate billions with a millions mindset. You can't generate millions with 1,000 mindsets. You can't generate thousands, and I hope everybody here is generating at least thousands. What, 100 mindset. So for you to change it, you have to change the blueprint. It's impossible to think like an ant and live like an elephant. It's impossible. Somebody say this with me. My thoughts are the horses that drive the chariot of my life. Or let's say that together. My thoughts are the horses that drag or drive the chariot of my life. So before there is an act, there is a fact. Every act is an expression of a fact. The fact that you've absorbed, that you've retained, that you've cherished, nourished, perhaps nurtured, and held onto for such a long time. And so you need to change your mind. And that's very important. If you can't manage your mind, you can't manage your life. If you can't manage your mind, you can't manage your time. If you can't manage your time, you can't manage your life. The smallest circle of influence in the world is your mind space, your mind domain. And whatever gains control of the mind gains control of the life. Do you know why the media is so powerful? Because the media controls the mind controls the culture controls the environment or the society. So whoever controls the media really dictates the pace of culture, controls what happens. And much of the media is not truth. Much of the media is a perception, an angle. Okay? So based on the broadcasting station or system, you will get a certain sliver of information. So for you to change it, you must deliberately look for the kind of teaching that is going to lead you where you want to go. Somebody say, I take responsibility for my thoughts, my expectations, and my future. Okay, you guys sound sort of sleepy. I take responsibility for my thoughts, for my actions, and my future. And that's what this is all about creating a shift. And you know, many times the shift you need is a tiny shift that will alter your destination. How many of you know that you don't need a wide shift to change the point of arrival? It's like flying a plane. You know that if the pilot has a 1 degree shift from the point of departure as against the line of sight or the line of flight, he's going to land in a totally different country. How many of you know that? So sometimes to land in a totally different place, all you need is a tiny shift. Write this down. Little amendments lead to great adjustments. Little amendments lead to great adjustments. Write this down. Copyright it. Right? Little tweaks lead to giant peaks. Say that with me. Little tweaks lead to giant peaks. Say that one more time.
Little tweaks lead to giant peaks.
So a tiny little adjustment, a tiny little shift, just a tiny little. You see, one idea is good enough to change the world, and can be bad enough to change the world. In fact, one idea is powerful enough to change the world. Doesn't mean you have just one idea, but it means that out of your many ideas, one of them is powerful enough to change. Now the thing is, you don't know which one will change them. So we're going to train you on what to concentrate on, what to focus on, what will bring that shift in your experience. Okay? How many of you read the webpage, dreamacademyonline.com/info? How many of you, how many read word for word? Okay, now if you didn't read it, I know you're already here, but to your assignment, do read it so you can have a little context of where I'm coming from and why I'm driven to do what I'm doing. Yeah, because I understand that there are many young people who are struggling with their failures and their backlog and their past, and they're not able to draw the strength they need to move into the future. Okay, so do that. Let me give you a couple of assignments already. Now, when we go on break, who's not on Twitter here? Don't be ashamed, okay? Who's not on Twitter? Before you leave today, you need to get a Twitter account. Well, it's not compulsory, but it's part of your assessment. get a Twitter account. For those of you who are on Twitter, you're going to follow Dreamstream Live on Twitter and Damilola Online on Twitter. So it's at Dreamstream Live and at Damilola Online. You're going to follow. I am more selective. And to be more effective, I have to be more selective. So the more selective I am, the more effective I become. I can't focus on everything. To focus on everything is focus on nothing. So a plan helps me to focus. Thirdly, a plan helps me to maximize time. Not just not to waste time, but to make the most of the time, because I've allocated different lines of action to different time slots. Okay, any other reason why plan is important? Yes, ma'am. It gives you direction. Fantastic. Because without a plan, what happens? There's confusion, isn't it? Isn't it? You know, how many of you plan your day? We'll get to that regularly. Plan your day. Okay, out of those whose hands are lifted, how many of you write out your plans for the day? Okay, fantastic. Now, for those who don't plan their day, guess what? Somebody calls and says, hey, what's happening? I'm fine. Let's go to the movies. So, let's go. You go. Let's go and see my friend. You go there. Let's go and take ice cream. What happens? You go there. Why? Because you have no plan. Now, here is the deal. Whenever you don't have a plan, somebody else has a plan for you.
Just me.
Oh, so I've got a good witness right there. Somebody else has a plan for you, and you will nicely fit into their plans for your life. Look at your neighbor after writing and say, you've got to get a plan. Why settle for the plank when you can have the plan? The plan gives you an overview. It helps you to organize yourself. It's extremely important. Now, one of the things I've seen, I've not been to many countries, but maybe 6 or 7 countries of the world. I intend to go to, by God's grace, over 200 before I die. Amen. Don't hate, appreciate. Amen. Okay. All right. Now, and what I've seen is, some of them are African countries, some of them are non-African countries. And what I've seen is that the countries that are progressive are countries that are built on plans, properly laid out plans. Okay, concrete plans. You can't build anything sustainably without a plan. Now, to try to build your life without a strategic plan is like trying to build a house without the architect's drawing. The windows go anywhere, the doors go anywhere. The foundation is like this, right? Dancing in the rain. Everything is haphazard. There's no focus, no streamlining, and then it's not sustainable because there is no direction. Where's the kitchen? Where's the living room? Where's the bedroom? Where's the pantry or the storehouse? The countries that are progressive are the countries that have plans. In China, the average organization in China and Japan, they have a 100-year plan for their businesses. Yes, 100-year plan. And let me tell you, Europe has a 100-year plan for Africa. How many of you realize that? They've been working the plan since the early 1900s, and it's evolving by the day. And so they have a plan for Africa. They have a plan for the policies. They know the kind of policies that must be in place for their plans to come to pass. Now, a person full of faith, but without a plan, will always be less than a person who has no faith, but he has a plan. Because your faith without a plan is going nowhere. But your plan without a faith will make you stumble on somebody who can give you some faith for your plan. Okay? Must be a plan. In Nigeria, we're so religious, but they're heathenistic countries. They don't know anything about religion, but they have a concrete plan and they have systems that work. They have things in place, procedures and patterns that they've documented, and they can hand over to another generation to implement progressively and constructively. So there has to be a plan. Now write this down. My plan determines my productivity. My plan determines my productivity. Now I want all the guys to say my plan and all the girls to say determines my productivity. Okay? So guys,
My plan
Determines my productivity.
My plan
Determines my productivity.
say that one more time.
My plan
Determines my productivity.
Now let's say that together. My plan
My plan
determines my productivity.
determines my productivity.
All right, it's extremely critical. Now there are three key elements in your plan. There are three key elements, and I touched on this earlier when I said there are three key things you're going to need for your dreams. Number one is that you're going to need energy. Somebody say energy. The world is governed by energy. In a conversation, the person with the greater energy dominates the conversation. In negotiation, the person with more energy. Now, energy is not raising your voice or shouting down the other person. It is the force behind your words. It is the intention you communicate. It is the weight, the gravitas, the substance that influences your tonality, your expectation, your level of certainty and precision when you present your points. Okay? Now, the person who has energy in any environment becomes the leader in that environment. Because people gravitate towards what? Energy. When you look at light in a dark room, everybody wants to go toward the light. Because that's what? Energy. Something that's traveling. When it's cold and there is a warm part of the room, where do you go? The warm part, because there is what? Heat. Energy. The world revolves on energy. That's why oil and gas is a big deal, because that's like the energy liquid of the world. So you need energy. You need physical energy. Now some of us are always like, my plan determines my... Come on, look at your neighbor and say energy.
Energy.
Oh yeah, you said it right this time. Say energy.
Energy.
Fantastic. So you're going to need a lot of energy. And there are different areas to that. Emotional energy, mental energy, the ability to hold a thought, to think about it, to focus on it, to drive it, to see the different expressions, to think outside of your own cultural context, and to be able to reach logical conclusions that will produce in your generation. Energy. You need a right mental perspective, the ability to analyze, to synthesize, to put things together, to brainstorm, critical thinking. You need energy. Now, number two, you're going to need synergy. So this is being recorded, so if I'm going too fast, the CDs and DVDs will be available. And we have those from the last session too, and I'll talk about that a little later. So you need synergy. Synergy is, where's my flip chart? Maureen. Synergy is sync energy. Synchronized energy. Knock out the C. Synergy. Okay, that's your energy and mine. That's my energy and yours. That's the collective energy we're able to generate as a team. That's the momentum that we'll bring into the space when we come together. Now, nobody will ever maximize his or her potential by working alone. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. Without a team, you will lose your steam. And you will lose your self-esteem. So if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with a team. That's synergy, the ability to cooperate, to collaborate, to leverage resources, systems, structures, ideas, concepts, backgrounds, experiences. Somebody knows something that you don't. You need something that you don't have. You need something that you don't have. And it's not just God. God made Adam, but Adam needed a wife. That means Adam needed something that God was not. And God didn't deny. God didn't say, oh, you know what, it's not good for man to be alone, but man has God. No, he made what he needed. So there are some things that were made by God that are not God that you need to please God. There are some things that were made by God that are not the same thing as God that you need to be able to please God. Okay? So you need synergy. Look at your neighbor and say, I need you.
I need you.
Oh, there's your opportunity. If there's a lady beside you, you've been looking for ways to communicate your true intentions to them. But look at your neighbor and say, I need you.
I need you.
Now say this with an attitude, but you need me. Synergy, leverage. Okay? One can put 1,000 to flight. Two can put 10,000. Okay? It's better to get 1% from 100 people than to get 100% from one person, because if that one person is ill or can't show up, then you lose everything. But if 1 out of the 100 is not available, you still have 99. The third thing you need is strategy. Somebody say strategy. Now, synergy and energy without strategy equals tragedy. Synergy and energy without strategy is what? Tragedy. Do you know some people who know everybody in the world, but their lives don't reflect their relationships? Say I. Anybody like that here? Who knows somebody? You know somebody. I mean, this guy has all the DPs and has all the pictures and has all the, but he has no reflection of those relationships and values in his life. Is there anybody who knows what I'm talking about? Why? Because he has access to them, but access does not always guarantee success. Access needs direction. Access needs intention. Access needs moderation. And that's what strategic planning gives you. Okay? It's extremely critical. Extremely critical. So how would we define a strategic plan? It is basically a tool that helps you to fulfill your mission. To fulfill your mission with maximum efficiency and impact. Yesterday we had the What's Your Dream section, did we? Did you write your dreams down yesterday? Oh, you didn't? Oh, loads of exercise today. Okay? Now, your strategic plan should consist of well-articulated goals. Somebody say goals. And it must also describe the action steps and the resources needed to accomplish them. So yes, you might have all the energy in the world. You might just be an energetic somebody going nowhere. You can have all the synergy in the world and just be someone who's well connected but going nowhere. Because your relationships ought to be a vehicle. Yep. Your relationships determine your resources. Your resources determine your revenue. Another way to put it is your network determines your net worth. But we'll come to that. So, a strategic plan, in hindsight for your past, you need foresight for your future, and then you need insight. Insight is the ability to extract all of the lessons and the expectations and bring them to where you are now. So the first level of self-improvement is self-assessment. Peter was writing to a church that he was mentoring, and he said, examine yourselves. Right? There can be no promotion without an examination. An unexamined life is an unproductive life. An unexamined life is an unproductive life. So it's extremely important for you to examine yourself and say, where am I now? Where am I now? You know the 7 facets of life? Do you know the 7 facets of life? Do you know them? Spiritual, emotional, mental, financial, relational. Pardon? Societal. Now please write those 7 down. You wrote them yesterday. Did you do your assessment on the levels? Okay, I want to assess yourself now. Where am I in this areas on a scale of 0 to 10? You did that yesterday? Oh, fantastic. Okay, so self-assessment is the first step. Who's on a 10 on anything? 10. Who's on a 9? 8. That's what I'm asking you to do now. Yeah, on a scale of 0 to 10, assess yourself to find out where you are spiritually, financially, relationally, emotionally, mentally, professionally, and physically. Okay, you know what, just for time's sake, just write that down as one of your assignments to do. Write that down. Also write down what's your dream as one of your assignments to do. Somebody's wondering, there's so many assignments here. Yes, ma'am.
You're too fast.
I'm too fast, okay.
How do you do your assessment?
Don't worry, just write it down. Yep. Okay, if I'm too fast, it's because we have a lot to cover and the DVDs and CDs are available. So just write as fast as you can and you pick them up later. All right? Now, once you've assessed yourself, there are 6 to 7 things you must now craft. And the first one is my mission. Somebody say mission. You need a mission to gain admission into the school of success. You need a mission to gain admission into the school of success. Without a mission, there will be loads of omission. You will leave things out. You will forget things. You will ignore things. You will dishonor things. Without a mission, there is no admission into what school? The school of success. So my mission basically is an expression of my purpose. It should answer the questions, why do I exist? Why? The question why is extremely critical because without a why, there cannot be a how. When I know the why, the how will show up. The how is the plan. The why is the purpose, or in this context, the mission. So if you run a business, the question is, why are we in business? We talked about customer service and emotional intelligence yesterday. At the center of that is your core purpose. Why are you in business? Why should people patronize you? What are you there for? You know, two people say, well, one person says, I'm here, I sell makeup, I'm a makeup artist. Another person says, I release the imprisoned beauty in my customers. Who do you want to do business with? I release the hidden glory. Who do you want to do business with? Okay, somebody says, I sell laptops. Another one says, I deploy tools to help people achieve productivity faster. Who do you want to deal with? Who do you want to engage with for more clarity and explanation? The second person. And the person that gains audience, gains mastery. So this redefines what you do. And once you redefine what you do, you redefine how you do it. Let me give you an example. Steve Jobs and Microsoft. Now I want us to make expressions based on how we feel about these two companies, okay? Microsoft. Microsoft. Apple. Give me a shout based on how you feel about it. Hey, let's take it again. Guess we're booting or something. Microsoft. Apple. Now, why is Apple so cool? Why? Pardon? Is that why they are so cool? Or did they make the money because they are so cool? Are they cool because they make the money, or they made the money because they are cool? You see, many of us think that if I make more money, I'll be cool. No, if you're cooler, you make more money. They say, oh, if I make more money, I'll be more charismatic, more confident. No, if you're more charismatic, more confident, more competent, you will make more money. Engage the audience, you engage mastery. Because the more people ask you for more information, you become the teacher. And the teacher is in a place to give instructions. If you're a stockbroker, you're paid like a stockbroker. If you're a wealth creation expert, they'll say, sorry, we can't afford you, but help us manage this. You know what I'm talking about? So my mission. We need to do that. The second thing you need to do is my vision. Somebody say vision. So without mission, there is no admission into the school of success. Now without vision, there will be a division of resource. Without vision, there will be a division. A division. Where there's no vision, the people perish. But let me add this to what Solomon said. Where there is a vision, the people flourish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is a vision, the people flourish. Somebody say, I will flourish.
I will flourish.
Say it with energy, I will flourish.
I will flourish.
Because I have a vision. Now, what's a vision? A vision is a mental picture of my desired future. It should answer the question, where am I going? The projection. How many of you realize that your mind really does not know the difference between reality and concept? Okay. Is there anybody who's ever had a bad dream? You had a dream they were chasing you from your village. Masquerades with whips, long whips. Anybody like that here? Is there anybody who's had a bad dream before? Come on, raise your hand. Okay. Now, when you woke up, did you wake up smiling? How did you wake up? Blood of Jesus! For the very spiritual people. Or holy water. Yeah? You were not smiling. What happened? You were not actively involved in the vision, but your subconscious was involved. And so you woke up sweating. Write this down. My psychology affects my physiology. You woke up sweating, your body, your glands were being affected by images and pictures in your mind. Okay? Now, the same thing happens on the other end of the spectrum. Now, most of us have not trained our minds to utilize the powerful tool of the subconscious mind in the positive light. So we use it in negativity. Now, the same thing happens. Let me just paint a picture in your mind. Imagine that right now, as you sit here, you have in your local account 150 million naira. Just imagine it. Chiboze is smiling already. Some of you are struggling to imagine that. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. Your blueprints. Look at it and say, change your blueprints. When you imagine it, what happens? It changes your state because your psychology affects your physiology. Now, for those of you who are like, I'm sick, I'm tired. Guess what? Your body conforms to that image, to that picture. But when you sit up straight, how many of you know that when you stand up straight, you feel more confident? When you sit up straight, you become more attentive, more involved, more engaging. And so you must have a clear vision. To a man who has no vision, every picture becomes attractive. Let me say that again. To a man who has no clear-cut vision, every picture becomes attractive. Every business becomes worthwhile. Do you know some people who are always running after businesses? It's pure water that is selling. Toothpick. Chicken wings. Barbecue. Cola. Okada. Not in Lagos anymore, yeah? Now, write this down. Create the desirable so you don't have to settle for the available. Many people settle for the available. That's how it is. That's how the country is. That's how the world is. That's how things are. But when you create the available, rather the desirable, you will not have to settle for the available. And this is your work. It takes work. And it takes a lot of writing. That's why we have a lot of practical sessions. Because if you're not disciplined enough to put your thoughts on paper, you're not disciplined enough to follow through in actions. If you can't take the small step of writing, chances are very slim that you'll ever be able to implement those things in real life. Now, the third thing you need to do, and then we have vision. I can't go through this for time's sake, but you can go through the internet and see the different vision and mission statements by prominent organizations. Number 3 is that you must have values. Somebody say values. My values determine my valuables. In the non-progressive societies of the world, there are hardly any values. or let me say hardly any positive values. Yeah? Your values govern your behavior. If one of your values is patience, no matter how worked up you are in traffic, Lagos traffic, you won't cut off into the other lane because you're being patient. If one of your values is punctuality, you won't have paid the 1,000 naira fine. You pay this. Somebody say, ouch. Yep. Values. My values determine my behavior. They determine what I do and what I don't do. How I do what I do, with whom I do what I do. And everybody has values. You know, ever so often we do this experiment where we ask people to list their priorities. Yeah? I wish we had time to do that. We might do that in a more practical class. To list their priorities. And you see everybody say, these are my priorities. God, help me. What else? Talk to me. What? Family. What else? Career. What else? Friends. Money. Some people put money before friends. Health. Now, everybody seems to have an idea of what the ideal is, but hardly ever do you have anybody following through in practical terms. Now, write this down. My values govern my behaviors, so my behavior is a reflection of my values. My behavior is a reflection of my values. If I want to know what you believe, I check out how you behave, because how you behave tells me what you believe. So what are my values? What are my values? For somebody, a value, and don't forget we talked about changing the blueprint, that it has to be deliberate and conscious, because your current blueprint is possibly or has possibly been formed without your input, without much of your active input, maybe your passive contribution. So for you to change it, you must take responsibility for it. Okay? So we've talked about mission, vision, values. Without mission, there is no admission into the. Without mission, there will be omission. Okay? So where there is no vision, there is the vision. Where there is vision, people flourish. Where there is no vision, perish. Okay? So values. Focus on your values, and your values will create your valuables. I was privileged to be in South Africa the other day and went to the Nelson Mandela Square, and there's this big giant statue of Madiba, Nelson Mandela. We did a little excursion, and they kept showing me houses. That's Mandela's house. That's Mandela's house. Like, this guy didn't work all his life, in quotes. Yeah? Or didn't have a job, more like. He worked. And so people just give him the houses. People that liked him, liked what he represented, what he did, they give him the houses. Why? Because your values create your valuables. Mother Teresa distributed more millions than many millionaires, because they were donors committing wealth through her charity. They always create your valuables. Now, number 4, you need goals. 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 You will never live your dreams without goals. Like a football player, or like footballers run around the field without goalposts, so is a man with grand dreams without goals. A goal is a dream with a deadline. A goal is an instructor of my schedule. My schedule determines my success. The secrets of great men, Mike Murdoch says, is hidden in their daily routine. So the seeds of your success are buried in the shell of your schedule. If I can go through your schedule over the last 1 month, I can tell you where you will be next year. Because if you can't manage your mind, you can't manage a day. If you can't manage your day, you can't manage your life. The smallest unit of time that you should be able to manage is now. The next one is your day, because you can make a mistake now, but you have 23 hours, 59 seconds to make up for the error. So your goals are instructors. Your goals determine what you will do and what you will not do, what you should do and what you should not do. And now goals have to be fixed. Now, how many of you have ever watched a soccer match where they say, okay, now it's halftime, so we're shifting the goalposts from this side to this side of... Have you ever seen any match like that? How many of you feel very excited if that happened? Feel confused. And so for many of us, we had goals in January. Said, no, this goal is not working. Let me shift the goalpost. Don't reduce your goal to the level of your potential. Increase your potential to match the demands of your goals. Your goals determine your growth. Your goals determine how far you will go. So goals are very important. Now, a goal is a dream with a deadline. Without deadlines, you can't take advantage of lifelines. What are lifelines? Support systems, opportunities, individuals, human beings. Without deadlines, you can't take advantage of lifelines. Say that with me. Without deadlines, I can't take advantage of lifelines. So you need deadlines. If somebody says to you, come and see me tomorrow morning, and you ask the person when, the person says anytime. So I'll give you money. So when? Sometime. How many of you know that it's likely that the person doesn't want to give you the money? It says sometime in life. At some point in history. It doesn't happen. So there must be goals, because your lifelines will always come, but without deadlines you can't recognize them. And if you can't recognize them, you can't maximize them, because you can never maximize what you don't recognize. So there must be goals. Now, there must be goals for your future. I want us right now, in the next 1 minute, write your 10 biggest goals, the goals of your life, things you want to do before you die. The 10 biggest goals, write it now. Task your mind. Task your mind. What are my 10 biggest goals? Top 10 goals. You know, one of my top 10 goals is to write at least 1,000 books. What? Yes, it's my goal. And don't let another person tell you what your goal should be. It's like Man U playing Chelsea, and Chelsea says to Man U, you should score only 3 goals in this match. You determine your goals. Your goals must have deadlines. Your deadlines determine your lifelines. If a coach wants to score 5 goals in a match, it influences the kind of players he features and when he features them. Top 10 goals. Where you want to travel to. I want to travel to over 200 countries. I want to touch 1 billion people through books, digital devices, live presentations, teleseminars, webinars. Those are my goals. I don't want to be a president of any country. That is not my goal. It's not, I've met like 7 people in our generation say, I want to be president. I said, good. I know 6 other people just like you. All within the same age range, right? These are not my goals. I don't want to be the Speaker of the House. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, no, most definitely. Literally. Yeah, so write those. Now, who do you want to meet? Who do you want to talk to? What do you want to do? You want to build orphanages? How many orphanages do you want to build? You want to give out books to prisoners? How many of them do you? You want to build schools? How many? Goals. And one of the things you will notice is that your creative juices begin to flow, because your natural schedule chokes up your creativity. Going through traffic every day, waking up at 5:30 a.m., going to bed by 11:30 p.m., it chokes up your creativity. You're not able to breathe. Your mind is asphyxiated because you're not able to breathe, to think outside of the box, or to leave the rut of routine. So you must consistently challenge yourself to give us your top 10 goals. Who wants to share their list with me very quickly? Anybody? You have your top 10 already? Goals. It might take you a bit of time to even write them. You know, many of us, it's when we write that we encounter the inhibitions we're carrying around. For many of us, your goals determine your desired outcomes, and they influence your progress and the speed of achievement. Every soccer player knows that he has 90 minutes to score a certain number of goals. If your life were a football match, for many of us, we're still in the first half. In fact, for all of us. And you're still in maybe the first 20 minutes. Still in the early part. Yeah? Write down your goals, your top 10 goals. I need to wrap this up very quickly so I can bring up my senior colleague, my chairman. No. After the break? Oh, really? Okay, fantastic. All right. So who has their goals? Goals? Anybody with their goals? Nobody's going to laugh at your goals. Your goals are your goals. You have 6. Tell me what the 6 are.
The first one is building an orphanage.
Building an orphanage, okay?
The second one is building a school.
Building a school.
I want to become a professor.
All right, you already have the look.
And I want to visit 10 countries at least.
Visit at least 10 countries.
And I want to be an ambassador too. And then
You don't know the country yet.
for the 6th one,
Somalia.
to learn at least 2 languages. I love French and Spanish.
Awesome, awesome. So those are his goals. And guess what? Now because you have those goals, they will influence what you pay attention to, because your goals give definition to your roles. You're not found everywhere when you know where you're going. Anybody who wants to be somebody does not follow everybody. Can I say that again? Anybody who wants to be somebody doesn't follow everybody. You can't learn how to be a mechanical engineer by following a tailor. Because there are pathways and patterns to desired outcomes. Okay? Now, anybody who's going somewhere cannot be found everywhere too. So your goals bring definition, clarity, streamlining. And then after you've done that, you need a strategy. And basically in the original language, the strategy means the art of the general. This talks about a systematic flow of actions that are well integrated and constructed to achieve an aim. It's a systematic flow of actions that are well integrated to create a certain result, to create a desired outcome. So the vision is the picture of your desired destination. Your strategy is how you intend to get there. And it's a line of actions, a flow of actions that keep you on track so that you don't go off course. The last thing you're going to need is a what? Map. I have a whole new training I'm developing on the map. How many of you would like to get that training? Okay, only 10 people. It's not a part of this Dream Academy session, but I'm going to create it. Now, for me, a map is a mind adjustment plan. Because a new strategy in an old mind will lead to tragedy. If a good idea is planted in the mind of a bad thinker, it becomes a bad idea. The nature of the seed is influenced by the nature of the soil. Yeah, it's influenced by the nature of the soil. You see, the soil has to be the right temperature. It's not good enough for the seed to be good. If the temperature is too hot or too cold, then the seed can survive. Not all ideas can thrive in every economy. Not all ideas can be sustained. Have you ever tried talking with somebody? The person was already tired, already sweating, and you were just in the preview of your idea. Some minds are too small to contain certain ideas. The seed of an elephant can thrive in the womb of an ant. The queen bee cannot discuss with the queen of England, even though both of them are queens. Right, yeah? So, your ideas will often take the nature of your environment. So, you need a mind adjustment plan. A mind adjustment plan, which is a map, which means you must consistently challenge your thinking, because yesterday's innovation will lead to today's stagnation. How many of you feel very excited? It's your birthday and you're very excited, anticipating all kinds of gifts. And somebody says, hey, I got a gift for you. And people shout, surprise, surprise. And there's this big box with a red ribbon on it. And when you untie the ribbons and remove the box, you see one nice typewriter. You're going to be very excited, yeah? Like, yes! I've been dreaming about this typewriter all my life. How about an iPad, the new iPad? Who'll be excited about that? But do you know that the typewriter was once more celebrated than the iPad 3? So there are some ideas that are obsolete. They were celebrated, but right now they can't be tolerated. So you must consistently do that. So let's go through the things that we've discussed as we wrap this up. I saw this at Heathrow yesterday, and I just felt like it was cool. That if you're going to do something, make it fast, make it strong, make it big, make it All right, let's go through the things that we've talked about. Energy, strategy, and energy, strategy, and synergy. Right? Energy and synergy without strategy is tragedy. Synergy is synchronized energy. Okay, so what are the 7 things you need to have? Number 1, vision. Number 2, mission. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and make it work. All right, make it work. Okay, you have a question? You want to share your goals? Fantastic. Okay.
I just look for. The first one is to be the top female peak performance. And are you all here?
No.
I just look for. The first is to be the top female peak performance and solutions leader in the world by December 2032.
Awesome.
To have a market dominant consulting company in Nigeria by December 2022. To be married and
5 kids. Awesome. Fantastic. Now, one of the things that she's done, which we all need to do, is to put a time frame to it. Put a time frame to it. Okay? So we're going to go on break for 20 minutes before we have... For 10 minutes? Okay, for 10 minutes, I'm told. And I wanted to make the most of it. Grab a bite, drink something. All right. Now raise your hand and say, I am a winner. Okay, I like the energy. Say, I am a winner. Say, I have a vision. I have a mission. I have the right values. I have the right goals. I have the right strategy. I have the right map. And I will make it work. Slap somebody, double high five, and say, you rock. All right, we'll see you in 10 minutes. Oh, no, I'll talk about it later. Yeah? Oh, yeah. If you have questions, put it together.